Hello and welcome back to Behind the Cues, the podcast where we delve into the magical chaos of backstage theatre. I'm Tom, your host, and on today's episode I thought we could delve into a few of my favourite musicals and stage plays. I want to jump into my favourites that I've either watched or performed in, letting you know why they're my favourites and maybe throw in a couple of things which I wish were better. I have written a script for this episode, however, it's not a structured script per se, it's just bullet points, so hopefully I won't sound like a robot in this one. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into my curtain call favourites. Okay, so the first one, and many of you who I'm friends with also love this musical, and it is Rocky Horror Picture Show. Although I love the movie, that's not what we're talking about. I'm talking the stage production. It's one of my all-time favourite shows, and what I love most is the audience interaction. There's words that only true fans will know, and when to shout them out, and also little props that you're actually allowed to throw on stage, including newspapers, rice, toilet paper, and toast. It's been an absolute dream of mine to play Dr. Frank since I first saw the movie, and I just never ever see an Amdram group putting on a production of it, and the closest that I've ever got to play in a similar role was during lockdown, where my local theatre were planning to put on a production of Saucy Jacks and the Space Vixens, a show that really deserves a true honourable mention. It's basically like this space-themed bar sort of thing. And there's I don't know what she is. I can't really put my finger on it. I took it as she was a sort of alien transvestite sort of drag character called Booby Chevali. And basically she turns into this space vixen by the end of the play, and she's like a true woman. But yeah, it's still a character I hope to play in the future. So fingers crossed that we can all pull together again and get this show on the road, because it does seem like a really, really good show, and obviously it will sort of kill my thirst of wanting to play Dr. Frank, because a boy can dream, but whether that dream will come true, who knows. So, number 2 is Kinky Boots. I'll say it again for those of you who didn't hear it in the first episode. Kinky Boots will always be my favourite show that I've ever performed in. The professional standard on the production I was in was just an honour. Being able to do what I love on the biggest stage I've ever performed on was a magical experience, to say the least. Getting to make and style my costumes while also being costumed in drag with insane heels and wigs is something I could only ever have dreamed of. And truly, like, Kinky Boots captivated me as soon as I heard the best song in the whole show. The sex is in the heel. A song about how a ruby red stiletto is the only way to strut your stuff. Again, pulling me into the world of drag, one heel stomp at a time. So, the next two are from back in uni, when I worked on a project called Launch Festival, where I was a technical stage manager in charge of lighting and sound, and I really want to apologise to those who worked with me on this whopper of a project, because it was the most rewarding yet stressful project of my career, and I probably snapped at a few people, and I am so sorry for that. But those of you who know me will know that my forte is definitely not lighting or sound or anything technical, but I was in charge of 11 shows. Yes, 11 shows in the span of 2 weeks. So a pretty fast turnaround, if you ask me. There are many shows that I loved working on during this festival and previous festivals as well. But these two just took a grip on my soul and they just make me so happy and I just love them. So, what number are we on? I think it's 3. So, number 3 is Pews at 10, which is written by my lovely friend Nia Brooks and directed by another fabulous friend, Izzy Klein. A fabulous play based in a small village church in Wales. And the premise is 3 old Welsh ladies and an Englishman get ready for the best thing to happen in the world. Tom Jones, the singer, will be visiting the church. Honestly, it's comedy gold. I've never laughed so much. And I think that what makes it better is that I can really relate to the storyline and I could fully see it happening in real life. The show was recently performed at the Space Theatre in London, and there is word of it coming to Wales in the near future. So keep an eye out over on the Instagram, which is at Pews at 10, and that is PEWSATTEN, Pews at 10. Number 4 is Ernie, a mask show written by the insanely talented James Goodall and directed by the wonderful Felicia Casper. This show honestly blew me away. I've never seen anything like it. There's no speaking in the production, only live music and sound effects, adding to the enchanting storyline. The play follows a Liverpool docker in 1963, Ernie, a man in his late 40s, and how he manages to survive the harsh conditions of his brutal job. It's captivating and mysterious, but head over to follow James in his writing journey over on Instagram because you honestly, this man has written so many good things, and I know for a fact that he will just keep writing more because his style of writing and also the sort of lovable, relatable storylines that he writes about, and it's mostly Liverpool-based stories, but I know for a fact that he's probably writing from the heart, from personal stories. So yeah. If you want to follow his writing journey, follow him over on Instagram at JamesG15_. That's JAMESG15_. So I thought I'd add a few honourable mentions. The first one is Les Miserables, an absolutely brilliant show. And although I've only ever seen the touring show, I have been a massive fan ever since I performed in it at the age of 12 in secondary school. The second one of my honourable mentions is Everybody is Talking About Jamie, a story that's so close to my heart. The art of drag being told through a 16-year-old story. Again, I've been following this play since I've watched the BBC Three documentary Drag Queen at 16. I'm sure I must have been around 14 years old, and although I wasn't out yet, I found it so intriguing, and I loved the full circle moment for Jamie when he wrote the musical and had a big part in the musical as well. So the third and final honourable mention is Frozen the Musical. And I did speak about this in the last episode about Elsa's Quick Change, but I just cannot fathom how magical this musical is. It just simply takes you back to watching it on the screen. and it just feels so much more magical when you see it happen right in front of you. The production team have truly captured so many audiences with simple illusion and trickery. So I'm going to jump back to my favourites now, and I think this is number 5, which is Wicked. And although it's low down on the list, Wicked has been a fan favourite since its release on Broadway back in 2003, and I have absolutely found a love for that since I heard Defying Gravity for the first time in my teens. And many a time I have sang it at the top of my lungs, the final note of the song, and absolutely cried the whole way through when I watched it back at the Millennium Centre a few years back. And the one thing that I do hate is the people who watch the new movie and think that it's the origin, and yet many people have never read the books or even seen the stage production. And I just want people to experience the full circle, you know. The books are nothing like the musical or the film, to be fair, because there's quite a lot of gruesome bits in the books, but the writers of the musical have sort of made it a sort of family-friendly production, shall we say. And I guess I could put my love for Wicked down to my mother, who religiously watches The Wizard of Oz whenever it's on TV. I guess the storyline makes more sense when you drift off to Oz in your own little bubble after years of watching it on TV. So, the last one in this list, which is number 6, is Indecent. And don't let the title fool you. It's quite honestly the most moving yet chilling play I've ever had the chance to see. It's a Yiddish play based around the time of the Holocaust, with a play at the heart of the story called God of Vengeance. And the thing that really got my stage fingers tingling is the fact that it's subtitled all the way through, just like swaps and changes between languages, which is absolutely crazy. So the Yiddish is translated into English, and the English is translated into Yiddish. It's honestly just a moving, strongly moving piece that encapsulates forbidden love and the deprecation of, apologies, I need to say this name right, Sholem Ash, which is the writer of God of Vengeance. And the biggest thing that gives me goosebumps every time I watch it, because it is actually available online, which is National Theatre at Home, I believe, or it might be on Broadway HD. So watch it if you can. Basically, the play ends with a line of Jewish people with ash falling from their hands as the stage falls into darkness, which I personally think was a very strong symbol to end on. And yeah, it just, I don't know how to explain it, because it's not magical because of the symbolism that it represents, but it's just like, it makes you feel like crushed, but sort of in a good way. But then when you think about what it actually represents, it makes you feel a bit like sad. I lied. This one's my last one, I think. Yes. So the last one, absolute last one, is the Addams Family musical, which is another one of my absolute favourites, and some of the best comedic script writing I've ever come across. In March of 2022, I played Lurch in the Pontypridd Players production of this marvellous musical. Although Lurch grunts and moans as he stomps around the stage, I was allowed to put my own unique spin on the character, and my absolute favourite scene is technically a transition sort of post-transition. I don't know what it is. But Lurch is playing the organ, and Wednesday comes in with her new boyfriend, and she's like, "Can you shut up, please?" And I got to add a different response to that every single night, finding different ways to put a middle finger up to Wednesday. My favourite is probably getting a handkerchief and like stuffing it into my hand and then blowing on it and then unveiling the middle finger. But it's pretty safe to say that I got a laugh every single night. And of course, this was only an amateur production, but I was made to feel so welcome. And I think that's what made me fall in love with this incredible show. So that's it. I could go on and on about my favourite plays and musicals, but this episode would end up like 5 hours long, so I'll cap it there. I'd love to know what your favourite productions are, so let me know either over on TikTok or Instagram at Tom Does Theatre, and I'd love to discuss with you all your favourites, because I know that every single play, musical, has a place in someone's heart somewhere. So, yeah. Don't forget to check out all the creative mentions in this episode, Pews of 10 and James Goodall, because they are all truly, like, fabulous people. Like, really, really, they are. So, as always, you've been listening to Behind the Cues, the podcast where we delve into everything theatre related. Until next time, bye-bye.